Welcome, everybody, to Season 5, Episode 29 of Oz Media's Motivate Me 313 Podcast. And today's topic is, again, we're going to be talking about Sudan, but in a different way, because this upcoming week on Saturday, April 11th, and Sunday, April 12th, there will be a summit being held at the greatest campus in the United States of America, Michigan State University's campus. So that's what we're going to talk about. Yep, go ahead and give that a round of applause. Deserve it. I'm still finding a way to mention Michigan State, even though, you know, it's all about Michigan being in the Final Four right now, but it's okay. The Sudan Summit, raising awareness on the world's largest forgotten crisis. And our guest for today, to the left of me, we have Siham. Shout out to Siham, the main organizer of the summit. And then to the left of her, we got a couple familiar faces. We got Ashley and Khadega in the building, so go ahead and give them a round of applause. Siham brought the powerhouse to talk about this show, all right? So shout out to Siham and everybody that helped organize this summit. Inshallah, will be a successful event. We're going to talk all about the summit, obviously talk about what's happening in Sudan. I don't think we have enough conversations about this. We probably need to have a show for every single week of the season in order to even cover what's really going on. So I'm glad that we can have this conversation. But before we do that, you can follow us on all of our socials. We're on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Apple, and Spotify podcasts, all under Oz Media. You can find all those platforms on our website, ozmedia313.com. Shout out to the sponsors of this show: Juice Box, Holy Bowly, Wingfellas, Beit El Mocha, Chill Box, Malika Kebab, Hanley International Academy, GE Preparatory Academy, The Family Doc as well. Yusuf, let's start off with our good friends over there at Chillbox, and then we're going to officially get the show rolling. Shout out to Chillbox. Chillbox. Chillbox Convenience Stores, a proud family-owned business, has established a strong presence throughout Southeast Michigan. Chillbox branded gas partners are Valero, Shell, BP, Amoco, and Sunoco gas stations. Their mission is simple: to deliver fast, friendly, and convenient service to their valued customers. With a wide range of snacks, refreshing beverages, and food options, all offered at competitive prices, they aim to satisfy every craving with a smile. With 40 locations and more coming soon, all across Southeast Michigan, their commitment extends beyond providing convenience. They strive to be a reliable and trustworthy resource for their local communities. So be sure to go chill at Chillbox. All right, we're officially back. So first and foremost, we have to say, we want to get to know our people who are on the show. So Siham, let's start off with you. Tell us a little bit about yourself. And, I guess we don't want to dive into the summit yet, but let's just learn a little bit more about you. What do you do, and anything you want to mention.
Yeah, so currently right now I am a master's student at Michigan State University.
Whoop.
So yeah, I am, always go green.
Go white.
So yeah, I'm currently studying ad PR with public policy, but I feel like I've been at MSC forever. And at this point, I can't decide if MSC is holding me hostage or if I just refuse to leave, because
both of them are happening right now.
So I have been just there forever. And by the time, this is why I'm like, MSC, by the time I finish, within the next 5 years, I hope they give me like an honorary doctorate, because I'm going to be leaving MSC with 5 separate degrees. So they need to come through.
They need to give you a position.
Yeah, exactly. You know what? Make
Love
me
an
the
educated woman.
let them make me the president.
We need to start a campaign.
Exactly.
That's funny.
But yeah, so and then I'm also at MSC. I'm actually the founder of a Beta Kappa Mu, which is the first and only Muslim sorority on campus to provide space for Muslim women to feel empowered and really just have a space of their own, because MSU has over 1,200 student organizations and not a single one exists to support Muslim women. So yeah, Beta Kappa Mu is the first sorority and also the first and only Muslim space for Muslim women.
Is there any, I'm just asking this, I wonder if there was any fraternities for Muslim men, or were there? I mean, you may know better than I do, because I didn't know any of them or heard of any of them.
There isn't any, not any Muslim fraternities that I know of, but there's one Muslim sorority nationally that exists, and that is Mu Delta Alpha, and that is the only one that currently exists. We are the second to exist.
Interesting.
I always envisioned for like a Muslim sorority or fraternity to be called Alif Bata, but
That's actually
I think that would be so fun.
You know what? I was going through all the names when I was coming from Vedic Capital.
Alibata.
That would have been funny. That would have been funny. Khadija, since, you know, you want to chime in and also just say, you know, a little bit about yourself, just in case, you know, new audience, maybe new people.
I mean, I've been here. I'm a regular. So my name is Khadija Mohammed. I am currently working at the Arab American National Museum. I lead community engagement there. I'm also a spoken word artist and a local organizer. I've been organizing for Sudan for so long, unfortunately. I wish that wasn't the case, but I'm always an advocate for not just like organizing for Sudan, but also celebrating Sudani culture and educating people on Sudani people. So I do that through my work at the Arab American Museum, and I do that through my everyday events and even my business that I have with my mom called Mayram, where we sell Sudanese instant meals and drinks. It's an online thing, so you can order at mayram.co, which is mayrum.co, to check out, to have Sudan in your own home. So I am very honored to be here today to support my dear friend Siham. Funny story of how we met. Maybe Siham could delve into that, but it was very stalkerish. And she forced me to be a part of this, and I'm so grateful that I am now a part of it. You know, I thought it was a spam. I'm not gonna lie to you. She was like hitting me up on my email, on my Instagram, and I was like, "Who's this girl?" And then she finally actually like showed up at one of my events. So you can tell her more about that.
Listen, you were not gonna respond, okay?
I was on maternity leave.
Yeah, listen, no, Khadija is literally the hardest person to get in contact with. Wrong. I came across her on social media. I was like, you know, and this is like in the early stages of, you know, like planning. So I need to have Khadija. I emailed her personal email. I emailed her business email. I DM'd her.
Oh my God.
I called her work.
Yes, she did.
You know, I could not get through her. So I started following her on social media to just keep in touch in what she's doing. And then, you know, lo and behold, she started a Jalasat event, you know. She was promoting. I was like, you know, if she's promoting it this hard, this is her event, you know. So I showed up. My only goal was to talk to Khadija, you know, and mashallah, the first day of Jalasat was really good, and they were out of space. I didn't have nowhere to sit. And she was like, would you like a chair? I was like, Khadija, I came here to talk to you.
I was scared for my life. I just saw a black hijabi. I'm like, who's this girl? And then she was like, I'm actually here to speak with you. I was like, oh my God, am I in trouble? About to serve me something?
Yeah. Like, straight from Sudan or something?
But ever since then, you know, I'm very happy that I got to know Siham and work with Siham, and I just think she's doing incredible work, and I'm absolutely honored to be a part of it. So
no, mashallah, you are doing amazing things.
You make me look
very
like a bomb.
inspiring.
So
no,
Siham is a go-getter.
She's
Khadija's
a go-getter.
That too, and you know who else is a go-getter? Shout out to Ashley. Ashley,
Yes.
you want to tell a little bit more people about yourself and what you do?
Hello. I'm Ashley Boulos. I am a content creator, a journalist with TMJ News, and an activist. And journalism and activism has kind of always gone hand in hand for me. A lot of my content began with speaking about the genocide in Palestine, what was happening to my country, Lebanon, and branching out to all oppressed people in the world. That's how I got in contact with Siham about this event. Was content creation about Sudan. And now here we are we're having iftar dinners together and planning to go to these shows together. Yes. It's amazing the kind of connections you can make just from social media and the activism work you can do.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, actually, when I reached out to Ashley, I didn't know she was going to respond to me.
I
took a shot, you know. I'm like, you know, listen,
and she's a lot more popular.
Yeah, because she was like really popping. And I was like, you know what? But you know what they say? You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So I took my shot. And then I was like, mashallah, she responded. That gave me a huge boost of, you know, confidence. And then she said, I live in Michigan. I was like, Michigan, girl. Like, it was
local.
amazing. Yeah.
Alhamdulillah.
See, honestly, though, like normally I'm not that good about answering my messages. I get overwhelmed with messages sometimes. And I think everything works out for a reason.
Exactly.
I was on it that day, checking my messages apparently because I was meant to see that message.
Exactly. You are.
Meant to
Alhamdulillah, we are
happen.
here. Yeah, now we're like best friends. So.
Alhamdulillah. And let me tell you, there's a few things. Well, first of all, you forgot to mention you in the Sudanese gear now, too. And they got you in the gear.
They got
and
me.
everything.
Got that Sudani
Dripped out.
card.
Exactly. She's got her Sudani card.
I just want people at home to know they had a fourth one for me, but I couldn't wear what they were wearing. So, I just want to let y'all know. I was like, maybe not this show.
Next time I'll bring you the Sudani jalabiya.
There you go. There you go. I got to rock it. And so shout out to these ladies. Obviously, we're all doing it for a bigger cause, bigger than us. And that's why it was something, that we all felt like we had to be a part of. And when Siham reached out to me, I'm gonna be honest with you, the email, I thought it was spam.
You know what I'm saying?
I thought it was
you.
spam. And then I saw posts.
Yeah.
And that's when I was like, oh my God, this looks so familiar. And I went back to my email and I responded back to you, Siham. And alhamdulillah, we were able to make a show happen to talk about the summit that's happening. So Siham, can you tell us, for those that haven't heard about it yet, what is this summit all about? What inspired you to have it? And even why East Lansing? I mean, I know that's where you're at, but you had to probably had more reasoning of why you chose East Lansing as well.
Yeah. So, what is it called? So, this Sudanese Synergy Summit, but the goal is to really bring together not only the Sudanese diaspora, but really the community in general, especially like the Muslim community, to create these intentional spaces where we are having meaningful conversations and being able to just collaborate in a meaningful way, because there is a gap within our communities and we're not collaborating as much as we should, and we want this summit to be a way where we are having honest conversations, but then also just holding ourselves accountable and collaborate as well. And so it is a 2-day event. We've got a whole lot of things planned out, from panels, workshops, cultural performances, to workshops. So it is a full day event, and I'm really, really excited. We chose it to be at MSU because I thought having it on campus is just more, it's more very inviting, and people want to be on campus just to say, oh, it's it feels more official, honestly, having it be at a university.
Like more prestigious.
Exactly. MSU just brings that prestige. So we're like, you know what, let's have it at MSU. And then also, so people don't think it's a spam,
Yeah.
You put Michigan State, like, oh, this sounds
official.
I just want to point out for a moment, I trusted you before they did.
Okay.
Thank
All right.
you.
You had my trust from the
bad.
beginning.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie, I looked at the email, I was like, man, what's this right here, man?
Trash.
You scrolling or something. No, but so hearing that response, right, from your perspective, especially the inclusive part, and not just inviting of the Sudanese people, but others as well. What are your thoughts on maybe the community being involved in this conversation, and in general, others, not just the Sudanese people, attending this event?
Well, so many of our struggles are shared struggles. We need to help each other out in what's going on in the world, because it is all connected. It is all linked. And when they say we're not free until all of us are free, we really do mean that. You look at the things that are happening in the world right now, like the Iran war. Iran has launched attacks at the UAE, who is directly funding and supplying the RSF in Sudan. Some of their supply lines have been cut off. You look at what's happening in Lebanon. Israeli bombs falling in Lebanon right now are displacing migrant workers, Sudanese workers, who are forced to stay in different shelters, hotels that will accept them wherever they can go. There are people sleeping in their cars. Our struggles are interconnected, and it's good for us to, as these communities come together and see, like, what can we do to support each other, not only in your struggles, but in ours also, because it does all come back around one way or another.
For sure. I don't know if you want to add on to that,
That was
Khadija.
beautifully said. I mean, you're absolutely correct. We always think, if it's happening to those people over there, it's not going to affect us. But what we know from history is that it will come back to us as well. The struggles are interconnected, and we can only be free as long as all of us are free. And I think also it's important for us to celebrate with one another as well, to uplift each other in joy. That in itself is radical. And so I think that's also one of the big goals of the summit, is to really showcase Sudanese joy. and pride in our culture and our heritage, and in teaching others about Sudan. I think oftentimes even other Arab countries don't know anything about Sudan and Sudani culture. And so it is a space to invite people to experience that for themselves, to educate themselves by experiencing the joys of Sudani culture. So absolutely, I think it's all interconnected, and we really have to be there for each other. And you have to show up for others if you expect them to show up for you. So.
And I like the way that you said that we need to experience Sudanese joy, because so often we focus on like the negatives of what's happening in the world and all of the bad things that are happening to these communities. But a huge part of genocide is cultural erasure. And so it's really important that we celebrate culture, we actually talk about it, educate other people on the culture, because that's how you keep communities alive, even amidst the bad things that are happening, actually experiencing the joy and the things that make these communities unique.
Absolutely.
And I love that both answers were perfect. And I agree 100%. I feel like anytime we can also be a part of highlighting the positive stuff that's happening, especially for a group of people where there's just so much negativity attached to a whole country. I feel like that's why I'm looking forward to it, because I'm going to see joy in people's faces that, deep down are struggling with what's really happening, in their world. And so that's why, inshallah, more people can come out and see and enjoy the festivities that are going to be taking place. And I know you kind of touched on it, but can you break it down now a little bit more, Siham, about what can people expect Saturday and what can people expect on Sunday?
Yeah. So Saturday we have some amazing keynote speakers, and honestly, I don't know how we got everyone to agree.
You shot your shot.
Got every single person.
You're underestimating what you did,
She is
by the way.
underestimating.
Reaching out to people. I swear, I always tell people, like, even people ask me, how did you get this person on the show? But I just reached out to them. Like you said,
Just try.
everybody I reach out to do not respond back. That's just the truth. But, I'd rather get 3 out of 10 people than 0 out of 10. And the only way you can get 3 out of 10 is if you actually put in the effort. And people actually care about what's happening. And I think overall, we're doing a better job. Obviously not enough of raising awareness as much as we can with what's going on. But I'm sorry, I know you were explaining that. Go ahead.
No. So the very first person I actually ended up getting as a collaborator for this summit was Zul Kornain, the NFL protester who, during Kendrick's performance, held the Sudan and Palestine flag. I hit him up.
How did I not know he was a part of this?
Really?
Hey,
He was in the meetings.
He's been collaborating. He's been collaborating on the posts that you're a part of.
Yeah. Did you not see?
Okay,
Okay.
maybe I just didn't put 2 and 2 together that that's who he was, but
A legend, by the way.
listen, you should have seen my face just now, like shock and awe. Okay.
Oh my
And
God.
I joined the first meeting and he was on there. I was like, oh snap, okay.
Did you not realize that was him in the meeting?
No, I didn't.
Oh my God.
Not one.
What a cool guy.
I mean, the guy probably doesn't come off and say, I was that guy. That was,
Probably, realistically.
But no, so he was what is it? How did I even get in contact with him? Yeah, I think I got his number somewhere, and then I called him up, and I was like, Zol, can we do this? And he was like, originally I asked him to be a keynote speaker, and he was like, you know what, I would love to come there, but if you need me to, like help out in any way possible, I am more than willing to help you out. And I was like, oh, okay, thank you so much. How do you feel about, like helping me co-host? And he was like, you know what, whatever you need, I got you. So, and then, from there, I was like, you know what, if he's in it, I think I can get other people to be a part of this as well. So, we reached out to a lot of, amazing people. I think Rashida Tlaib, though, I feel like she just couldn't ignore me because, listen, I met Rashida in one of our in an event, and I was like, Rashida, I'm hosting a summit. Would you be able to come? And she was like, I think, if my schedules align, and I was like, okay, yeah, I will make sure your schedules aligns. I see her at every other event, especially with Ramadan, if that is, so I would go to her. And as soon as I meet her at the events, I'm like, by the way, the summit, you're coming, right? So
That's dedication.
For the summit itself, we'll have keynote speakers, we'll have workshops. We've got an amazing Sudanese band, Jalasat Tarab, who will be performing. We even have Shabaka Kush, who is an amazing voice, just really highlighting everything that's happening in Sudan. He's also a filmmaker who's coming up with, he's creating a really amazing film that I'm excited to be a part of. But yeah, so we'll have, so on Saturday, we'll have the keynotes, we'll have the workshops, and then we have a comedian, Samir Abdul. I am so excited
for that.
Yeah, oh my goodness, he is amazing. And then so on Saturday we also have poets as well. We've actually got Khadija performing, we've got her mom performing, we've got Aina Fraid, we've got amazing other poets as well. And then on Sunday we'll have our keynote speakers and we'll have our panels, but then we'll have the band performing, and then we'll have Shabaka Kush performing. Yeah, and then in between we have silent auctions in the room, so you can go in and see some amazing stuff. It's a well thought out event to give everyone something. Exactly.
Fashion shows, so a lot packed in 2 days.
Yeah, 2 days.
It's honestly, it's amazing what you can pull together with just an idea and a couple of asks.
Yes,
exactly.
It started with, like you said, just that one connection, and it grew into something so cool.
Exactly. Now we met, me and Khadija met the mayor of Abdul, the other
Hammoud.
yeah, and
Shout out Abdullah Hammoud.
yeah, we got him. What's his name? The one that's running for senator, Abdullah Saeed.
Saeed.
Yeah. So
They're gonna be there, both of them.
yeah. I was like, I reached out to him. He was like, I talked to his team, and they're like, yeah, we will see. His schedule is very tight, but I think we've been doing our thing with those promotions because once that's they're like,
I'll come.
We gotta come.
I met him a few weeks ago. He is a very genuine and really involved guy, so he's going to be a good person to have there.
He
Somebody
is
who can really connect with the community.
He was?
Yeah.
Where?
At Wayne State.
Oh, he was a
Public
professor?
Wayne State.
Okay, y'all two and us two over here, teams.
No, but he's a great speaker too. I've
Great.
seen him speak. Oh my goodness, he's just brings
amazing.
such amazing energy. Yeah,
Yeah.
and then we've got Linda Sarsood.
Love my girl.
We've got amazing lineup. So we are, mashallah.
MashaAllah, Allah Mubarak. And this is the perfect example of when you put your trust in Allah, right? When you have the right intentions, Allah will take care of the rest for you. I mean, obviously, Siham is the I don't want to use the wrong word, but obviously you are the person that is stepping up, and I'm sure you have a team as well. But it's only through Allah's guidance and through Allah's will. And hearing you talk about this is kind of similar to the charity game, where it started off with just getting the mayors. I knew that if I can get the mayors involved, it will help the situation, advertising and all the pushing and of it. And I felt like they were all on board. No, they didn't give me not a hard time. And obviously you would say yeah, it's because you did a good job, but also you have to give credit to the Most High. Allah is the one that's, you don't know that the doors that is opening up for you, and it's all about your intention. So,
Absolutely.
I think that's a lot of the reason why the things are clicking the way you are, and obviously it's for a great cause, and it's needed.
If your heart is in it, he will provide.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll give you your flowers as well, Omar. I mean, you can feel that you were super genuine in wanting to put this charity game and in supporting people, and just the testament of us being here multiple times talking about Sudan and you constantly reaching out and having me here to speak. That's a testament to your genuine, authentic desire to really uplift all of us. So I want to give you your flowers. I think when you are just doing your part as a human being, Allah will open so many doors for you, and other people can see that in you as well. So I just want to give you your flowers for that.
Thank you, Khadija. I appreciate it. So we're going to actually take a quick break right off of that, and we're going to get ready now to start talking more about what's going on in Sudan. So I feel like this is a good time to take a quick break. So Yusuf, let's go ahead and give a shout out to Hanley International Academy, and then we'll keep the show rolling. Shout out to Hanley. Let's be honest. If you're looking for the place that has the best K-8 school for your child, then the choice should be easy, and that's Hanley International Academy. Hanley International Academy is a school that treats every student and staff like their own family. It's even in their vision statement, educating your child like our own. The academics there are great. The athletics there are great. Thank you to the staff and administrators at Hanley for educating our leaders of tomorrow. To learn more about Hanley, you can visit their website at hanleyacademy.com or call them at 313-875-8888. All right, so by the way, I'm happy that you're putting this together in East Lansing so that these Michigan people, University of Michigan people, can see the greatest campus in the state of Michigan. Or just in case they've seen it, but haven't seen it in a long time, this will be a reminder to them.
Exactly.
All right. So for people who may not be fully aware, and you know, this can start off with either one of you, because I know you both are very knowledgeable on what's going on as well. So can you paint a picture of what's happening in Sudan right now? How bad has it gotten? I know we had you on a couple months ago.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sure same old story, just a different day kind of thing going on. I mean,
Absolutely. I think I'm gonna hand it off to you, Ashley, to kind of give more of an overview of like what's currently going on in Sudan. You're a lot more knowledgeable.
All right, let's put me on the spot. Well, what's happening in Sudan right now is the greatest humanitarian crisis on earth. There are millions of people currently displaced inside of the country. I think it's 7 million right now,
Yeah.
if I'm...
Yeah.
7
Keeps
million
growing.
people displaced, millions of people going hungry. I mean, we think about like the catastrophe in Gaza right now, all of the people who are displaced and starving. All of this is happening on a larger scale in Sudan. One of the things that's, I guess, the most heartbreaking for me talking about the conflict in Sudan is how much it impacts women and children also. This is a little bit of a heavy topic, but rape and sexual assault are used as weapons of war. Women are being forced to hide in their homes to a certain degree to avoid being attacked. They can't leave their home to even go get humanitarian aid, to go get food to feed their families, because the moment they leave, they're going to be accosted by soldiers and harmed in some ways that are frankly hard to talk about. It's very difficult to see.
you want to add on to that and give a different picture and a different perspective on that, the whole situation too?
Yeah, I mean, that is a heavy topic to talk about, how it's impacting people, not just, you know, they're not just killing people, but they are killing people while they're alive. Psychological warfare that's going on in Sudan. And I mean, hospitals are being demolished, and so there is no place for women to go to give birth, to, you know, get any sort of medical support or anything like that. So it is something that is just super difficult to talk about, because I think Sudan is like demolished. And even though like it is demolished, I'm still so amazed by how when I speak with my family back home, they are still so hopeful, you know, and so it blows my mind how people can be so strong in the face of such adversity when they no longer even have homes. They're living in tents, they're displaced in their own country or displaced outside of it. But people are still hopeful that inshallah Sudan can return once again. And when the people have that strong will, I'm sure that Allah will make a way for it. And it's just incredible to witness the strength of the Sudani people. And our job here outside in the diaspora is to continue to uplift that. And to, again, I talked about this so many times. It's just, it feels like a broken record. We know why people are not talking about it. Okay, blah, blah, you know. So like now, like we have to do that for ourselves.
Yeah.
And I think this is why it's incredible that what you're doing, Siham, and what you have created that we're all now a part of, is we are doing what we wanted the world to do for us. And it's just not happening, so we have to do it for ourselves and to continue shedding light on everything that's going on in Sudan, and for us in the diaspora to really uplift our people back home.
Yeah. You know, like, that's exactly what the summit is about. The summit is about instead of expecting others to, you know, speak up for you or make a difference, we have to be the ones to do that. We have to be the change that we want to see. And that comes by creating these intentional spaces for us to be able to say, there's a lot that needs to be done, but this is where we can start. Let's have these dialogues that need to be had. And let's see how we can push each other forward. And also, you know, with everything that's happening in Sudan, this is not, you know, it did not occur when, you know, it just hit everyone's feed on social media. This has been going on for quite a while, you know, starting with the Darfur genocide, you know, and my family is, you know, is survivors of the Darfur genocide. And so for us, we've seen this for so long, and it's been continuing to happen. And that's one of the reasons why too, with the co-host Neju Foundation. So that is an organization that I co-founded with my mom, and it is a nonprofit organization supporting families here within Michigan to help them get adjusted to the new environment. But a lot of our work happens outside of the U.S. within the refugee camps and Darfur, Sudan, and Darfur, and also Chad. It's just being able to see what they're going through. It is just it's painful. And so my mom actually is the one that goes in there every single year and handles all of the distribution products from food distribution, clothing distribution, as well as just working with the local teachers to just continue schools running, because education is really, really powerful. And once you educate, and especially like the women and particularly when you educate a woman, it's like you are educating the entire village. And so and all of the funds actually raised during the summit itself will go towards supporting the families in Darfur, Sudan, and Chad. This year, I actually will have the honor of going with my mom to Sudan, and so I'm looking forward to that. We will be going from June to hopefully August to do our distribution projects this year.
Inshallah.
Ashley, you felt like you were on the spot last question. I might have to put you on the spot for this next question.
All right, that's okay.
And because I think we all know the answer, but everybody's afraid to say it. And Khadija said it on the show before, so I'm not going to ask Khadija to repeat what she said. But you mentioned that Sudan is the largest humanitarian crisis. But if you talk to most people in America, they barely know anything about it. Why do you feel like this crisis is largely unnoticed in mainstream media?
So there are a lot of different factors at play. I mean, when you look at Gaza, we see it a lot more accessibly on our cell phones. There are videos that we're seeing every single day. It's gotten a lot more social media coverage. More people are talking about it online. But why are more people talking about it? I understand there's an element of, well, the U.S. is involved in this. The U.S. is directly funding what's happening here. So here at home, we should be protesting U.S. involvement. But then you see these same people protesting about things that the U.S. isn't involved in. They're protesting in different areas of the world. At a certain point, we have to realize that there is some anti-Black bias there, and that's why some people are not paying quite as much attention, or it doesn't trigger the same sensitivities in them as these videos of Gaza do. And I do want to give people some credit. There are certainly moments when, big events happen that people tune in and they start paying attention, like with what happened in Al-Fasher. They do eventually check in, but it's almost difficult to maintain their attention for too long, because the violence that they see on Black bodies is almost like they're more desensitized to this than they are to bodies that look a little bit closer to them, like the Palestinians. And don't get me wrong, Palestinians are still not white Americans, but they can identify with that a little bit more than they can with Black bodies in Africa. So a lot of people, unfortunately, tune out. They shouldn't, but that's the reality. You look at different Middle East countries, and they still uphold like the kafala system. They look at Black migrants who come into the country as second class. A few months back, or maybe about a year and a half ago, in Lebanon, there were Israeli strikes happening in Lebanon, and people had left their homes and left the people who were working in their homes behind. So the migrants who were tending to their homes every day, taking care of them, were left with no notice. The family just disappeared, and they had nowhere to go. They had no way to support themselves. Migrant workers were turned away at shelters. They weren't allowed to be in the safe places that the rest of the general populace was. So this anti-Black bias not only exists in America, but it exists all over the Middle East. So that is a huge driving factor here.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, going to the masajids, I can name maybe in one hand the amount of times they mentioned Sudan. And then when you're looking at all of the different things that they have about the resources, I go through all the pamphlets. There was like about a dozen things talking about Palestine and Gaza and everything. I'm like, wait, what is the Sudan section? We are here, we are within the community, but like it's like our pain doesn't really matter, and we can show up, but it's like nobody, shows up for us.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a sense of betrayal, like I've been saying, and Ashley, like even in Palestine, there is like Afro-Palestinians who
Yes,
still have to deal
absolutely.
with the racism and with the genocide. So this anti-blackness runs deep, you know what I mean, in every aspect of it, in every country. It's just a bias that people have just deeply internalized, and it affects how people view Black people everywhere. So it's, yeah.
Yeah.
And the reason why I asked that question is because it needs to be said, it needs to be mentioned, and I appreciate you, Ashley, for eloquently answering the question the way that it needed to be answered.
I think that's a bias that all of our communities need to address within themselves.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to be accused of being racist or having racist tendencies, but look inward and examine, do I approach these topics the same way? Am I giving the same amount of care to this topic as I am to this one? And if I'm not, why?
And then I think that's a question that we all have, like you said, everybody has to ask themselves that. You mentioned Lebanon, it's like that in Yemen. I know that for sure. I witnessed it in my own 2 eyes when I went there, 15, 20 years ago. I can only imagine what is going on now. So it's one of those things where it's really no reason it should be that way, and we all need to look ourselves in the mirror and figure out what we need to be doing, because like we mentioned earlier in the show, we are all attached. I don't care what you think. We are all one. Even if you try not to be, it is what it is, and we got to figure it out. And going back to the Sudanese diaspora, why is it important for us to keep that story alive, to keep the story of what's happening in Sudan alive, even here in Michigan, here in the United States, wherever you want to say? Why is it important for us to keep that story alive of what's happening in Sudan? If anyone wants to jump on that one.
Because if we don't, no one will tell the Sudanese story unless we Sudanese step up and talk about it. I mean, we've been waiting this whole time for somebody to talk up, but it's not their responsibility. I think we need to take it upon ourselves in the diaspora to be the ones to uplift the voices of our Sudani people back home. It is an obligation on us, a moral obligation. And not just for Sudani people. I think from a humanitarian perspective, we tend to always politicize these things, but it is a humanitarian problem. It is a humanitarian crisis, and we have that moral obligation to do that. So I just don't know how people can sleep at night knowing that they're not doing everything they could. You know what I mean? And we still feel that sense of guilt. Even with everything that I'm doing, I feel guilty for not being the one back home, for being outside in the diaspora. I just happened to be out here. I could have been the one in Sudan as well, going through the same thing that my cousins are going through, my family's going through, my aunts and uncles and everybody. But I just got lucky somehow that I'm out here. And so I feel like that sense of guilt is super strong. I don't know if you guys feel the same thing with like us being in the diaspora, that it just feels like we need to constantly be doing more, even though we're trying our best, but we have that obligation to continue to work and to uplift our families.
Yeah, no, survivor's guilt is a huge thing, and I feel like a lot of people within the diaspora feel that. Yeah, for me too. It's just me and my siblings, my mama, who are here. We don't have like any other immediate family members. They're all in Sudan, and so with the war, my cousin, she lost her husband. My aunt, also like, and then El Fashir, he died, and then my cousin. I got so many cousins, you know how it is in Sudan.
Cousins.
my other cousin, my mom's older sister's youngest son, and that's one of the things why being here is really important, and just having the opportunity is important, because you have to look at yourself and say, wow, I have all of these opportunities. What can I do to really just do the best I can to make that change? Because so my cousin, in search of better opportunities, and try to really like escape the refugee camps and bring more opportunities to his family. He ended up, him and his friends ended up getting on a boat to try to cross over to Europe. And all of his friends ended up drowning and died. They all ended up, drowning and died. And I think that's why, for me, doing this work, the nonprofit work, and really just doing everything I can to uplift, Sudanese voices and stories is important to me, because this is not, we're not so far away from everything that's happening. We're so, in close proximity. Our families are going through it. And so being able to just have this position, we're here for a reason, we are giving this, we've got this, because it could have been easily somebody else in our position,
Right.
coming here. It's kind of like a lottery, you don't know. And if you were living in Sudan, you would want someone who is in your position to do everything they can to advocate for you and be a voice, because you don't have a voice. And so that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to be the voice for the voiceless and utilize the resources that we have here to do all that we can to support all of our families back home.
And if I could share an anecdote about the mindset of diasporas as a whole, I was speaking with somebody recently, Palestinian, but I think it still is applicable here. He said, I had lived in war before and now living in the US and watching it happen and I'm not there. Mentally, it's almost harder to know that I have no control. There's nothing I can do. I have the survivor's guilt. And so I think it's important for us to keep talking about it, because if you can't be there and be a martyr for the cause and give your life for the people who are there, be here and talk about it and educate people, be an informant, spread whatever information you can, because at the end of the day, what's one of those things we always say, who writes the history books? The victors. If nobody is around to talk about the stories, then the only person who's going to narrate those stories for future generations are the people who pillaged and destroyed the land.
And if I may add, just like from an Islamic perspective, I mean, the Prophet ﷺ said, like, if you see an injustice and you can't change it with your hand, then change it with your words. And if you can't do that, then hate it in your heart. And that's the lowest of Iman. I think all of us need
That's one of my favorites.
Absolutely. And I think that needs to drive all of us in doing our part. If at the very minimum, you just have to recognize that this is an injustice happening and you have to hate it in your heart. And I think that's a message that I just want to send out. I think you're absolutely correct. Like, it feels even worse to be in the diaspora sometimes, but I think that hadith kind of like grounds me in, at least hate it in your heart. Like that's how you should treat injustice that is happening in the world. So yeah.
First of all, I never heard that one before, and there's so much wisdom to that, because when you hate something in your heart, obviously you're going to move different. Eventually that'll lead to action, hopefully, inshallah, if you're allowed to make that happen. So Siham, we mentioned this earlier in the show. You brought the right people. You definitely brought the right people. Well educated. Believe it or not, we're moving on, because y'all answered kind of two questions in one on that one. So I'm going to run our last ad, and then we're already moving into the final third of the show. But let's go ahead and run our final ad of today. Yusuf, let's give a shout out to GE Preparatory Academy, and then we'll keep things rolling. Shout out to GE. GEE Preparatory Academy. You have a kid that wants to work but can't because they have to go to in-person classes? Sign them up for GE Prep. You have a kid who plays travel sports and doesn't have time to attend in-person learning? Sign them up for GE Prep. GE promotes mastery of the 21st century skills, literacy, integration of technology, problem solving, and inquiry thinking. The GE mission focuses on what it considers to be essential character traits for the development of the whole child: respectful, responsible, tolerant, collaborative, creative, curious, empathetic, and ethical. It is the goal of GE to graduate students with the skills and character traits needed to be successful in college, work, and life. Online learning is the new way of learning. You can sign your kid up for GE Prep by going to their website at ge-edu.com. So we're going to swing it back towards the summit and talk a little bit about it. So, Siham, the summit not only includes, speakers, panels, the culture, the community. Why was it important to not just to make this a political thing, but also celebratory of the Sudanese identity? Like, why was that a driving force for you when you came up with organizing this summit?
Yeah, I think for me, I want it to be a space, not just for us to be able to have these conversations, but really just, I think celebration is really important. To be able to not only, because I think sometimes people with everything that's happening as well, I think they kind of get fatigued with all of the negative news, all of the horrible things that happen.
Right.
And so you want to be able to give them something also to celebrate about, and have it be balanced. And so that's why we the fashion show, the band, it just to allow you to showcase the beauty of Sudan, and really just and the more you see the beauty of Sudan, the more you also get interested, the more you're willing to learn as well. You're like, wow, Sudan is such a beautiful country, and there's such a beauty that comes with it, and that makes me want to learn more about it and learn more about the culture and be involved as much as I can. I think that's what all of the performances and everything, it just invites people to be more in tune with Sudan.
It's so easy to get like your spirits down and start to feel really defeated, only talking about the negativity all of the time. You really need the joy to balance it all out, remind you like what you're fighting for and what things could look like at the end of the day once everything is improving. Like you need that to kind of reinvigorate yourself and remind yourself like keep going. It will get better.
And Sudani people are just such joyous people. I mean, even in Sudan, we have this image on our mind right now that everybody in Sudan is like defeated and sad. And yes, but even in the rubble, they're having haflas. You know what I mean? Like there's just so much resistance in that joy because the oppressors are trying to, it's a psychological warfare before everything. And so breaking down your spirit in that way, but that joy is resistance. And so I think it's necessary for us to bring that celebration and to honestly like honor the Sudani joy that exists within the Sudanese everywhere. You know what I mean? Like they're all gonna show up for that hafla. I don't know if they're gonna come for the talk.
Need to. We one way or another, we're gonna get everyone to come.
Inshallah.
It's great that you mentioned that, because it's important for people to know that people are still trying to enjoy themselves, because we do, when you hear all this negative news, especially for people who are not from there or just hear what they hear, it's like, oh man, but I'm happy to hear that people are still smiling, people are laughing. I mean, I see it from you too. I know you guys are very important pillars when it comes to the diaspora for the Sudanese community here in America. And I look at the joy that you guys speak. Like you guys are speaking, like deep down there's hurt in the words, but there's smiles on your faces. You know what I mean? Like your tone is positive, and so I mean, honestly, if I wasn't Muslim, I'd be so amazed about how Muslims move about every single day.
I agree.
Because every single background, every country is probably going through something, but everybody is still moving, and I mean, and that has a lot to do with what we believe in.
Absolutely.
And let me ask y'all too this: the people who, I'm sure you're part of the organization, I know you are too, but in general, people that will be attending, what are you guys looking forward to in the summit? Like, what are you most excited about hearing the stuff that Siham just mentioned?
Okay, so as far as events, I want to say the comedy show so bad. I love a good comedian, but I have to give it to you and say I'm very excited for your poetry.
Oh, snap.
That's what I'm looking forward
Pressure.
to the most. Okay. I'm going to be watching you from the audience, okay, like a hawk.
And her mom.
My mom is a poet. She's an Arabi poet.
Oh, all right. I'm very excited for that. But I'm also just in general excited for like the conversations, meeting new people, getting to experience parts of Sudanese culture that I've never had the pleasure of experiencing yet, trying different foods, seeing different artwork. Like I'm just so excited to be immersed in the culture.
And you're a part of an amazing panel. I can't wait to see that conversation with the people in that. MashaAllah.
Can you speak more about what the panel is going to be about?
Well,
I'm just gonna show up.
Yeah, the panel that you're a part of, it's really talking about the woman, being at the forefront, and how women has been women are really incredible, and they are the ones who are always, at the center of change. And so this conversation that you're a part of, it's just talking about that. We've got who do we have? We have Anisa Muthanna, who is a CEO, who's going to be a part of that. We've got Zainab, who's at Harvard. We've got Rashida, who, we're like, Rashida, we need you to be a part of this.
Is Khadija going to be there also?
I am.
Earth to Khadija? Not.
You know what, Earth Khadija, if you're listening, what happened? Listen, you need to call me back, okay? Get back to my emails as well so we can figure this out.
Tag her.
Right.
Exactly. Tag her,
I didn't
please.
mean to bring up a sore point.
Yeah.
I know she's having some hard
she's
times right now too.
Yeah.
So I feel for her.
Yeah.
And let me just say, I knew this was going to be an all women's panel.
Yeah.
I just didn't know if it was going to be like, we're talking about like unity within the culture, or we're talking specifically about women's issues in like war conflict.
Yeah.
But I knew it was going to be a women's panel.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't just like not know anything.
You're like, ooh, she does up in those meetings.
Shut up.
I am
Khadija,
just there.
For you, anything you want to say what you're looking forward to?
To be honest with you, I'm looking forward to the hafla. Just a thought of. We had just a thought of before for a program that I run at the museum called Jalasat. And so, just witnessing the joy that people felt in enjoying Sudani music. Sudani music is incredibly unique.
Top tier.
Top tier, for sure. And it's so different from anything you would have heard before. And the way that, everybody gets up and dances, like, it's super exciting. I'm excited for you to witness that.
I'm going to need
inshallah.
everybody to turn around when I dance. Like,
Yeah.
Don't look at that, please.
Oh no, they get down. So you'll be all right. Everybody will be on the dance.
If somebody's filming, just move the camera off of me, please. You don't want to memorialize that, please.
I feel like we got a very demure dancer. Our dance is just like, like very
with the shoulders,
we.
I think I'm a good
modest.
dancer.
Yeah.
I think I'm a good dancer until I see a video of me, and then I'm like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
That's
Sit
how it
down,
always
you
is.
have no rhythm.
Like in the moment you're thinking you're hitting everything until you see a video of it and you're like, all right, let's
Like, I should
move on.
never do this again.
Yeah.
No, I used to think I could sing, but listen, my 5th grade teacher told me, she said, Siham, you don't have the voice for singing, so don't ever, she told me, I'm telling you, that woman did everything she could to, because I was in choir, I joined the choir and everything. She did not want me in there.
Oh.
She did everything so I can, she didn't want to remove me. She wanted me to, remove myself, And I was, I was a kid. It was 5th grade, I remember there was a song that we used to sing. I think it's like wait, and she was like, she came into me and she was like, Siham, Wait by the Water is, that is a Christian song. Are you sure, your family's okay with you singing? I'm like, yeah, my mom don't care. I'm.
Okay, on
We need
that
to do some
subject,
unpacking. You need therapy, girl.
on that subject, you singing a Christian song, I was in choir and I was in the musicals when I was in high school. I wasn't particularly good, but I did them. And one of the only pictures from high school that I can still show now that I have a hijab on is a picture of me in one of the musicals. We did The Sound of Music, and I was a nun.
Mashallah.
And that's the only picture from high school I can still show people because I was covered.
So wait, you were a theater kid?
Not a very good one, but I tried.
I was a theater kid too. I couldn't do the musicals because I really can't sing, but everything else I did.
So you don't need to sing there. Just enjoy.
I had one minor singing role in the one musical, and that was it. They said, we'll make you nun number 3. You get 3
Nun
lines.
number 3. Oh my god!
No, I had a name. I don't remember what it was. One of the important
Sister
nuns.
Mary.
Sister Mary, number 2.
Probably something like that.
Yeah, no,
So I'm very excited for
Yeah.
people to. I'm excited to witness people witnessing Sudani culture because I am very proud of it, and it's not just the music and everything. Sudani people also smell so good. Like
that
just
is hot.
everything smells like bakhur.
Yeah.
And so
Listen, can I say, when you guys were getting me dressed, I was like, somebody
like, what
smells
is
so
this?
great.
And look at our outfits today, bro.
They're
Sudanese
poppin'.
fashion is. Woo, I
It's top
love it.
tier.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
I'm very excited to just see what people will react to just the beauty of the Sudani culture.
So for the young or even the older, the Sudanese Americans listening right now, from the students to the professionals, maybe the people who feel disconnected from their roots, what message do you want them to walk away with from this summit or just in general? what if there was a message, like let's say they're listening right now, what would you want to tell them right now at this moment? Maybe we'll walk away with from the summit, or just walk away with from today's conversation.
I think something that I have personally struggled with as a Sudani American living in the diaspora is feeling like I'm Sudanese enough. And I think that's a message that I want to remind all of my sisters and brothers who are Sudanese living in the diaspora, that you are Sudani enough, that no matter how far away from the motherland, you will remain Sudani. And to really be proud of your Sudani heritage. We come from an incredible lineage. And so this is something that I have conversations with my little sister about all the time. I think she has become kind of like embarrassed of her Sudani identity, but recently in seeing all of the movements around Sudan, she has kind of like become more proud of her identity. So it's wonderful to see people taking ownership of who they are and being proud of that heritage. So my message always is to remember that you are Sudani enough, no matter how far removed you are from Sudan physically.
Love that. Give that a round of applause. Yusuf T, and then Siham, you want to add on to that? Any message you'd like to say?
Yeah, no, I completely can, like relate to that. I think growing up, it's interesting because when you come here, it's not that you don't want to erase your identity, but it's the fact that, you don't want to stand out. You want to, just especially like when you're going to school, you want to fit in.
Right.
And so the more you try to fit in with the new community and your new friend group and all of that, you remove yourself further and further away from your heritage and your roots. And then the more you remove yourself, the more you feel isolated. And then you feel like, you know what, maybe I'm not, like Sudani enough to be, a part of this. And I feel like that's a feeling that I always had as well, going like in high school and middle school. Just I never really felt like I was doing enough. But I think the more older you get, the more you find the more you find just you find your way back, I feel like, and I feel like I've also been just finding my way back within the community and really just feeling the pride, When I was in high school, nobody really knew where I was from, but now I'm like, yep, I'm Sudani. You know where Sudan is at, right?
Right.
I think the older you get, the more proud you get, and the louder you speak about where you're from, and just the louder you want people to know that as well.
And you understand yourself better. I heard this quote before. It was like, you don't know where you're going if you don't understand where you're from. I think there's something about understanding your ancestors and where you come from that really defines how you view yourself and how you're moving in the world. And so having something that grounds you in knowing where you come from is extremely powerful to inform you of where you're heading.
Yeah.
Good points. And I know this was more like for Sudanese advice, but even from the outsider's perspective, Ashley, and including myself, what would you tell the Sudanese people if you had the chance to give them a message right now with everything that they're going through?
So as somebody who is also watching their country kind of fall apart right now, watching Lebanon get bombed, it's important to remember that while you're watching these things happen, feel your feelings, honor them, feel them to the fullest extent that you need to. That is important for self-reflection, and it's important for driving action. Every time I see something that, pains me about what's happening back home, I do take my time to really sit in my feelings about it and reflect on what can I do about it? What can I do from here? I felt the hurt. What comes next? What's the following action? And just make sure that you're using that hurt and that pain to fuel you for more.
I love that. All great advice and great perspectives. And believe it or not, this is that part where we are going to ask you, Siham, if someone wants to attend the summit on April 11th or 12th in East Lansing, how do they get tickets? What should they bring? What should they do? is it one ticket for both days or a separate ticket for each day? Just anything you want to explain. How can they follow you? How can they follow the event? What can you tell them?
Yeah. So our tickets are pretty much in every one of us' bios, but Najwa Foundation is where we've been putting all of the promotion. So it's just Najwa, NAJWA_foundation. So the tickets will be there in the bio. The tickets are all across, like the barcodes are in the posters, but we try to also be because we want as many people to come as possible, so we try to be very reasonable with the prices. If you're a student and you want to come for like Saturday or Sunday, they're $12 per day or $20 for the 2 days. And then if you are like for the general public, it is $25 per day or $45 for both days. And the summit itself is a fundraiser as well, and all of the funds will go towards supporting the families and Darfur Sudan and Chad as well. But just follow us on social media. Please do whatever you can to show up and just learn. Even if you don't know much about like Sudan, and you're not you're like, is this for me? Listen, come for the band, come for the food, come for the speakers. We've got everyone, so at least you can find something that you can find value in.
Where's the actual event going to be held? I know you mentioned it to me, but maybe mention it here. Like what location on the campus is going to be held at?
Yeah. It'll be at the Union. So it'll be at the Union. We've pretty much got the whole building. So once you go to the Union, we'll be everywhere. Yeah.
I'm afraid to ask this because I hope that the answer is that they were supportive. How was MSU with all of this planning and stuff?
MSU, where's the funding at? We needed the sponsorships. You still got time, a week in advance. Okay, we need those sponsorships.
But they were were they supportive and giving you the space and all the student organizations? Were they all?
Yeah. No, honestly, I'm really we were able to collaborate with so many different, student organizations from Students for Justice in Palestine, Code Pink, Horia, ACS. So we've been able to collaborate with a lot of the student organizations to put this together. And then I think also even my professors has been, really, really incredible and just getting the word out and promoting the event as much as possible. And they're planning on coming as well. And so we've got some amazing just supporters who've been helping out. This took an entire village, from Khadija to Ashley. Ashley, thank you so much, because you have been doing a lot of work and helping from the begining. Thank you so much for
I wish I would have been able to do more, but thank you.
Have done, you have done more than enough. So I really, really appreciate you. I appreciate Khadija. She's got a baby at home and her work, but she still shows up. And to every person who helped put this event together and to the people who are just sharing the information, thank you so much.
May Allah reward you all for your efforts. You guys all deserve an endless amount of egg for all the work that you're doing. And may Allah bless it in a way where others can be beneficial from what you guys are doing as well. I'm going to let you guys say final words and final comments. Before, I just want to make sure that people know that you can watch this full episode on YouTube, or you can listen to it on Apple and Spotify podcasts under Oz Media. If you want to follow us on our socials, we'll be posting clips about this episode on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Facebook under Oz Media. Find all those platforms on our website, ozmedia313.com. Shout out to Juice Box, Holy Boldy, Wingfellas, Bates and Mocha, Chillbox, Malika Kebab, and Royal Kebab, Hanley International Academy, and the Family Doc, as well as GE Preparatory Academy, sponsors of the show. Final words, final comments. We'll go from right to left. Khadija, any final words, final comments?
Y'all better be at the Sudanese Synergy Summit. If you're not there, you're racist. No,
I'm
playing.
You know what?
Can we make that a clip, by the way?
We're gonna be taking notes. We're gonna see it. All of my non-Sudanese friends. Where were you?
Racist.
So be there.
Hey, listen, we're gonna wake up Saturday tired. I'm like, man, I can't be racist.
Exactly. Show up. It's
Hey.
10 to 7 p.m.
Hey, shout out to these ladies. This is why it's fun to have these conversations, because once you build that relationship, you know, you can have these unfiltered talks where it's like, you know, nobody's like, we all are looking for the same thing. I feel like as people, I mean, we just want support. Obviously, we want love, we want care, we want to make sure our families are okay, we want to make sure we are okay, and you know, we don't want the problems that are happening on all of our countries that are like nobody wants that. Like, we just want to have a good time, and inshallah, that's what this Saturday and Sunday is going to be about. It's just kind of like, hey, you know, we are Sudanese people. This is who we are, and we just want to present ourselves in a way that maybe you haven't seen yet. And I'm sure that's kind of like what the goal is. So inshallah, it should be a great time. Ashley, final words, final comments.
So my words to all of the activists, content creators, journalists out there who aren't speaking about Sudan, I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt and say a lot of you have come out and said, well, I just don't know enough. I need to get educated. This is your opportunity. Consuming Sudanese culture, art, poetry, all of it is your opportunity to get educated, to platform Sudanese voices, and begin to center this conflict in your dialogues, in your activism. If you don't know where to start, this is where to start.
I love that. I'm just still laughing at Khadija.
I wanted to piggyback off of that. I was like, let me be nicer.
Listen.
And the thing is, she started off serious. That's why it was funny.
My
And
bad.
she,
Looked right at the camera.
Yeah, look
Listen.
right at the camera.
We gave them the combo. You said, you're racist. And I said, but you don't have to be.
You don't got
Yeah.
You don't have to be.
Siham, you're gonna close us out, Siham. So let us know what's the final words and final
And
comments.
this is particularly for the Sudanese community. I am talking to you, okay? Listen, you guys say nobody's speaking about Sudan, you know, and we are speaking about Sudan, right? For people to speak about Sudan, we have to show up for each other, okay? And so I need you guys to not run on Sudani time, okay? You guys are in the U.S. I hope you guys took something from the white people and how they're, you know, at least an hour early to things, even 15 minutes early, guys. Show up, be there, and show the people, you know, who we are, and really just allow them to learn from us. Because the more we show up, the more inclined people will feel to show up for us as well. So we can't expect others to show up if we are not showing up for ourselves. So be there, okay? And I'm going to check every single Sudani name to see if everyone's there.
Now you say don't run on Sudani time, but you run on Sudani time here.
Okay, you know what?
They don't know that. They don't know that.
Exactly. Like, why you gotta put me on the spot like
We
that?
were on
okay?
time.
Listen, I blame the floods. Okay, it was the floods. Okay, but
You had to drive. You had to drive.
You know what?
Yeah, she's coming from Lansing. Two things. First of all, sometimes it be your own people, so I'm happy.
Right? It be your own friends.
I was talking about the not showing up, but that's funny too. And secondly, I don't know why it just crossed my mind, because people are always worried about parking. Can you explain to them, if I'm correct, there's a couple of parking garages right there
Yes.
in
See,
downtown?
I'm one of those people, so I'm so glad you asked. I would have had no idea where to park.
Yeah, so parking.
Tell us,
You know, there's a couple of parking garages right across the street from
Yep.
the Union, right?
Yeah, there's a couple parking garages right across the Union, and I think there is in the Union is like right on the Grand River as well, and that's like the downtown. So after you guys are done too, don't say, you know, oh my gosh, I'm hungry. You know, they got all the restaurants right there within 5-minute walk as well. And so. Yeah, and we'll also have people to help guide and everything like that. And hopefully we'll also put out information about parking very soon. So make sure to follow us on social media so you can get that as well.
There we go. Hope that you enjoyed this episode. A lot of laughs. I feel like this was like it was like a tea talk conversation, you know.
There was a lot of ups and downs.
Yeah,
The
right?
emotional roller coaster. Okay.
I try to start off with positive, and then in the middle kind of bring up why we're doing this, you know, the kind of like not so easy conversations, and end it with positive. But inshallah, in any way or shape or form, this is a benefit for you that are watching at home. Let's say, you know, for specific reasons that we may not know about, you cannot make it, share this. Not the specifics. Show the alone. I'm talking about share what they're doing, because you can get the word out, and maybe someone can come on your behalf. Someone, you can't come, but you got 10 people to come. I'm sure that's something that's going to be appreciated from the organizers. And again, just want to reiterate it. We cannot do these things unless we do them together. It's not possible. We're going up against, mainstream media. We're going up against mainstream ads and commercials and whatever it may be. So in order for us to get these messages across is when we support one another. I think that's the most important thing. So don't forget that, all right? Make sure you guys support in any way that you can. Again, this was Season 5, Episode 29 of Oz Media's Motivate Me 313 Podcast, the Sudan Synergy Summit, raising awareness on the world's largest forgotten crisis. Of course, you got myself, Omar. We had Siham, we had Ashley, and we had Khadija. We hope that you enjoy this episode, and we'll see you all next time.